big week for me because it's National Adoption Week, and that's a subject which is incredibly close to my heart. But as well, of course, the Northwest has adopted large parts of the BBC, so that's a double adoption whammy, and it's great to be here in Media City. I absolutely love it. It's working really, really well. In the years to come, it's going to be even better. And it's a fascinating community, and it's a fascinating and thriving business community. And that's why these awards are so good and so interesting and so well attended and so successful. So continued success to everybody, and I can't wait to present it tonight.
It's the 11th year for us now, and I think there are a couple of things. What attracts us is the businesses that put themselves up for this are the lifeblood and the drive of the business community here in the Northwest. So it gets us out able to see them, to engage with them, to hear some of their stories, and it gives us a chance to perhaps build some relationships with companies that we weren't previously so well aware of.
I think it's a great opportunity for us to showcase some of the best businesses in the Northwest area. They are obviously the cream of the crop in the Northwest in terms of working through what are very tough times for most businesses, and to actually get the accolade of making the final list is fantastic news for most of the businesses, and actually gives their employees a boost as well.
We love the association on a lot of different levels, working with the Manchester Evening News and also our co-sponsors at PwC and the Co-op, which is great access and profile to us. But I think probably above all else, it's getting out and getting to meet directly 80 or 90 new businesses, some of whom we'll know, but others that we don't at all. So it's a mixture of getting direct business introductions and finding out the best of what's going on in the Northwest, but also the profile we get through some of the coverage that there is in the Business Week in particular.
I think we had a real mix this year of private equity businesses, retail and PLC businesses, so there was a great mix. It made it difficult in a sense of, do you go for something that's well established, or do you try to look at the ones that have come through the ranks and change their business model quite a bit to actually do double-digit growth? And I think we've probably, at the end of it, having a little few arguments in the final discussions, we've got to a really strong set of final results actually.
Being from the accounting side of life, I always look for some good numbers, but that's a given with all tonight's finalists. So on top of that, you're looking for, and we've found, very strong management teams with a great sense of strategic direction, a very strong sense of innovation, which is keeping them in the position that they enjoy, and a deep felt and underlying association with the Greater Manchester area and their communities, which together is a very strong formula.
I think the business community has got a lot smarter in terms of the way they look at costs, for instance. They've got to be leaner and more innovative in terms of the way they look at how they do business nowadays. And in the main, some of the people that one of the finalists today, there's a couple of them actually, the theme in the final bit was actually going on to Eastern Bloc and actually sourcing staff and resources in Eastern Europe, which made their cost base a lot lower. And I think that's probably a theme that came out more than anything this year.
What's really stood out for me in terms of how businesses are dealing with the current economic conditions and the difficulties, I guess, is as much as anything the passion of the business leaders, whether it's in a small business or startup, right through to the big PLCs. It's what they're doing, and often with a great passion to keep their workforces together. And the manufacturing business is increasing exports, and it's a great range of things, but particularly the passion that we see from the people presenting to us, I think.
Yeah, the sort of advice we give businesses, small businesses in particular, to succeed in this current climate is make sure they've got a robust business plan, they've thought through all the risks, and they get proper funding in place, whether it's with equity or from bank debt, and just make sure they have considered all the aspects of what they're going to do in the business. Some people don't stick to the original plan and go off beam, and that affects where they get to in the end.
What you will hear anybody saying in these sort of circumstances is, get the basics right, stick to the knitting, and then build yourself a platform to allow you to move on. So what we've seen in all these businesses is strong management, strong control, where they've had to take difficult decisions. They've taken them to build themselves the right platform to sustain themselves through what is obviously a tough period.